When it's cold and rainy, there's no other choice. Soup is what's for supper. All right, y'all, this is a super easy to make but kind of time consuming recipe for homemade vegetable beef soup, except I'm using deer meat in this one because beef from the grocery store contains things that I don't want in my body. So you're going to want to prep ahead. You're going to want to cut up celery, like a half a stalk to a stalk, a medium bell pepper and a medium onion, and you're going to need like 2 cups of okra chopped. I highly recommend and suggest buying the frozen. You can get frozen chopped okra and working from there. I do not recommend getting canned green beans. You're going to need 2 cups of those. I don't recommend using canned for any kind of soup because the things in the can are already cooked, so it gets really mushy and nasty when you put them in soup. If you can get fresh, use fresh. If not, buy the frozen variety. And here I've got a deer roast soaking overnight in salt water. We do this to pull all the blood out. So after you've soaked it, you can see you can see the before and after. That's how much has come out. Now we're gonna go one step further. We're gonna put some mustard on it. I recommend doing this with every cut of deer meat. Just good old yellow mustard. Be real generous with it, and when you get it on there, you're going to want to massage it in. Don't just smear it on, but get it rubbed in. If there's layers, try to get it in the layers. And this is going to help to tame the meat. Deer meat, if you are not used to using it, or if you haven't eaten it much, it's a lot denser than beef. And it can get kind of hard. And, you can use baking soda on a thinner cut. But for these thicker cuts like this, and even for ground, I have found it best to just use some good old mustard. You can't taste it after it's been cooked. You leave the mustard on to cook it. And once you get it in there, make sure you get down in all the little cracks and the crannies. And just rub it in real good like you're giving it a massage. And then we're going to let it sit for about an hour. Okay, so it's been an hour, and we're just going to, you don't have to wash this off. It's actually going to work a lot better if you leave it on there. So we're just going to we're going to cut this into good pieces, good bite-sized pieces. And then we're going to put it in the pan and get it roasted on up. Now, you might be tempted to get your mallet out and beat these up, but it's really not necessary if you've done the mustard trick. If you gave it the mustard treatment, you're not going to need to give this any additional beating. No beatings required. Just leave your tenderizing hammer in the drawer because you're not going to need it. Now make sure to get, good bite-sized pieces, but keep in mind this is going to shrink up just a little bit. So you don't want them to be too small, or it'll be like morsels of meat instead of bites of meat. You want something big enough you can sink your teeth into. We're looking for, about this size. About an inch or so, quarter squares there. About 1 inch squares. All right, let's get it in the pan. All right, so spray your pan. Get your meat in. Give it a little salt. It's deer meat, so extra salt is good. And a little black pepper. That's all we're going to put on this for right now. And this just gives the meat a nice flavor. Because deer meat is a strong flavor if you're using beef. Salt and pepper to your preferences. Alright, we're going to put the lid on. It's on a medium heat. We're going to let this brown. We're going to pay attention to it now. This is one of those you got to keep moving, so we're going to give this some time to get good and hot, and then we're going to give it a stir. In the meantime, we're going to get to work on our soup base. All right, for this particular recipe, I am using things that I already have. I do homesteading activities, though I do not claim to be a homesteader. So I've got hot tomato juice here, and this is a broth that I made that is real similar to V8 juice. So for grocery store shoppers, get you some V8 juice. You'll be good to go. And you're going to want a couple of good size cans of tomato sauce. This is my chili sauce. This has a chili pepper in it. That's what makes it chili sauce. So just get some hot and spicy V8 and a couple of cans of tomato sauce. You can put crushed tomatoes in here, Rotel, if you really want to heat it up. Put you some Rotel in it. That smells so good. And if you're interested in learning how to make the chili sauce, there's a video. I'll stick it on the end of this one. And for anybody that doesn't think you can use these kind of lids in canning projects, I shall demonstrate. This was a lid off of some cheese dip, I think. Good Lord, it's sealed. Wait. All right, here we go again. Oh, that did not help. Oh, good grief. It's sealed. Oh, it might not come unsealed. Oh, dear. Good Lord. Yeah, that will render the lid useless from here on forward, but I might be able to get it. Good God. Oh, my. Wow. Okay. I'm going to have to get another one. Shit. The chunk you saw coming out of that was a pepper. Let's try this again. Y'all, I don't have terribly strong hands, but good Lord. Finally. All right, so we're going to be kind of generous with the garlic because garlic is really good for you, actually. And this is the soup that I eat all winter long to keep from getting sick. Garlic has natural antibiotics in it. So we're going to use a tablespoon. And then we're going to put another one in it. 2 tablespoons of garlic. Next, paprika. It's one of my favorite things to use. I love paprika. We're going to be generous with the paprika. Look here. Take the cap, fill it up, dump it in. There's your paprika. And then we give a stir. And then we give a salt. Salt. And we're a little lighter handed with our salt these days because I've oversalted this lots of times. Salt the rest of the way when you get to the table because that little bit of salt today is going to be big salt tomorrow. I do not know the science behind that, but I've done this enough times to know that the next day is always a little saltier than the day before. Now we're going to come over here, take the lid off of the meat and leave it off. We're going to put the lid on the sauce here in just a second. Now this is not done, okay? Just because it's a little brown doesn't mean it's done. You know, let's keep cooking this. We're going to get it done to like a medium well. So let that cook a while. Let this cook a while with the lid on. 1 lid, 2 pans. It is what it is. So there we go. Let's let this cook. We're going to give this until it boils. By the time this is at a rolling boil, that's very important, a rolling boil, then we'll put the meat in. And there are other stuff too. Now we're going to put in the green beans. And since those are fresh, they take a little longer. We're going to let these cook for a little while before we put that in. Not long, like 5 minutes. We just want the temperature to stabilize before we put the okra in because the okra needs to go in at a hard rolling boil to keep it from sliming up. So let's put the lid on this and let it come to boil. Give it about 5 minutes. All right, y'all, looky here. We are at a good hard boil now. And we're going to put this okra and onions in here. This is how you keep it from sliming up. There was a video I'd posted, TikTok or somewhere, with okra in my chili because I make a vegetarian chili for my daughter and I use okra for the texture purposes basically. And somebody commented about it sliming up the gravy. Well, number one, this is not gravy. This is absolutely not gravy. But if you get it at a good hard rolling boil before you put the okra in, between the heat and the acid in the tomatoes, it's going to cut right through that slime also. Frozen okra doesn't slime up as bad as fresh. Something happens to it in the freezing process because the slime's caused, you know, by the little cilia and the core, and the acid in the tomatoes cuts right through that. This looks so good. We're gonna let this sit and simmer for a while, and I'm telling y'all, this soup, I eat it once a week in the winter time. I don't get sick. It's once a week. You heard about the apple keeping the doctor away? It ain't. The apple ain't got shit on this soup. All right, I'm gonna show y'all my super secret ingredient: Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire is absolutely not Worcestershire. 1, 2, 3 shakes. That's all you need. Give it a little stir. Look how things, oh, look at there, y'all. Look at there. Now, it ain't done, and the meat is not all the way done. It was about a medium well, so we need to keep this cooking. But now that we've got a good simmer going, cut the heat back to about a medium low. Looky here. Looky there. It's ready. Okay, we're gonna cut off the heat. Take it completely away from the heat. Leave the lid off, and we need to let this rest before we try to eat it. All right, y'all. Time for the taste test. Let's get a good bite. Look there. Good old big old bite of meat there. We're hot. Ooh. Yeah, that's so good. That meat is so freaking tender. Right. It just falls apart. You don't even really need your teeth to chew it. You can smash it with your tongue. It's so tender. I'm telling you, the mustard is the way. It's just right. As I added just a touch of salt, not very much, a couple shakes. Check this okra out. Yeah, this is the perfect supper for a rainy, gloomy, cold, funky, nasty day. It takes a while to cook, but it's absolutely worth it. Have some. And what are you cooking for supper? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to find out what else I'm cooking for supper, check out this playlist, the What's for Supper playlist. And if you want to learn how to make the chili sauce so you can spice up your own dishes at home with fresh garden tomatoes next year when we have more tomatoes, then check out the chili sauce in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, what are you cooking for supper? I want to hear from you. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.